Hi guys, it's Kathy. Well, today I'm going to do the opposite of Best of the Mess. Instead of reaching back into my archives to show you something I showed a while ago that you missed, I'm going to show you one video of something that's upcoming. So you're going to see a piece of a hearing from a full docket I have from Georgia. This judge is exclusive to this channel, as are most of the Georgia judges that I have. But here's a sneak peek of what's going to happen in one of my lives soon.
On or about July 14th, near the intersection of Holly Springs Road and Skits Mountain Road, deputies with the Hall County Sheriff's Office attempted to pull the defendant over as he had ran a stop sign and he was on his phone. When
stop sign, $50 maybe. On your phone, was that $50? $100 if you've done it before. So $80, that's about $120 at the absolute max in Hall County State Court for those two things. The rest of the story.
And just so you know, Judge, there's technically video, but there's nothing that was caught on camera. So the defendant at the time agreed to stop, and the deputy asked for his driver's license. He didn't have his license, but had a picture on his phone. Then the officer noted the smell of alcohol coming from inside the vehicle, but due to the location of the car and the road, he asked the defendant to pull up a little bit further because they were blocking the road. And so the defendant did pull up a little bit further. And they had made it to an empty parking lot, which is what the officer had asked. But then when the officer was about to get out of his car, the defendant began to flee. He made a left.
Have I seen this before?
No, it's something similar, but not this one.
Okay.
Yes. The defendant made a left onto Lula Road.
So I interrupted you. So, hey, need you to pull off in the parking lot? Sure thing. They go to the parking lot, and then he basically keeps going.
Yes. He reached speeds of 110 miles per hour. The officer at the time, so his body cam was on. You could see him get out of the car, speaks to the defendant. He gets back in the car, but there's no dash cam. So, but he's essentially narrating all of this to dispatch, everything that's going on at the time.
So he gets out of the vehicle, interacts with Mr. Henderson at the window.
Yeah.
And then goes back to the patrol car. Mr. Henderson, not to be too casual, says, I'm not hanging out here anymore, and leaves. And then we have essentially, and I don't know.
The body cam.
Of essentially the steering wheel. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the deputy said that he was reaching speeds of 110 miles an hour. He began to drive recklessly and went into oncoming traffic at around the same speed. Hall County.
I'm sorry, what? Where's he doing all this?
This is on Lula Road.
He's going 110 into opposing traffic?
It's a 2-lane road, I'm pretty sure. So Hall County Dispatch notified GSP of the chase, and a trooper was able to get out near on Lula Road near the intersection with 365. The speeds increased to 115 miles an hour. A spike strip was deployed. And you could see this, the trooper had his dash camera on, but they don't have body camera. So you see him deploy the spike strip, but the defendant went around the spike strip. When the defendant went around the spike strip, and remember, he's going really fast, he had crashed into another vehicle and hit them head on. They ended up in a ditch. So then the defendant he got out of the vehicle and continued to run. And the taser was deployed. The defendant ran through the woods and was then apprehended. And the defendant has been in custody since. He's been in jail for about a year. This happened on July 14th, 2024. So with that, the offer is on count 1, the fleeing and eluding, 1 year to serve, credit for time served since July.
Okay, hold on.
Yes, Judge.
And this is just their version of events. But let me get this straight. So this isn't a situation where it's like, oh, I didn't see the cop, which we've seen before. Oh, gee, I didn't know I was going so fast or whatever. So he's interacts with law enforcement, and then he basically says, I don't feel like getting a DUI today, so I'm going to leave, which is not an option. So he does that, which is bad enough. And I'm not prejudging anything. I'm letting you know that right there, I'm not losing any sleep with you going to jail for a year. Just pulling off from the law enforcement officer generally would warrant a year. But then you go allegedly 110 miles an hour, bad. And then you allegedly go into opposing traffic, very bad. And then apparently you hit a third party. If true, extremely unacceptable. And I didn't get the crux of all that. So he hits a third party. What's happened with that? They go to the hospital
No, Judge, they were okay.
with a head on at 110.
They got out of the car. They did not have medical.
Do we have
assistance.
photos of that collision? So then we have an innocent third party head on, and then allegedly to top it off, he physically runs.
Yes.
Look, it's been a long day, and I'm not trying to be cranky here. If it's true that he's going 110 opposing traffic and crashes into a third party, I'm not taking a year. So not prejudge anything, not trying to cut the defense off, but I want to be transparent on where we're going here. Look, I mean, I'll hear you out, but I don't want to sit here for an hour and waste your time. There's people who've, each case is different, but there's people who've done a lot less that get a year. And with there being an innocent third party being involved in collision, this is a type of case where you literally you're lucky you didn't kill someone, and you're real lucky you didn't kill someone. So if the plan to give me the plea offer of 1 year, I think it's safe to say I'm not going to take that from what I've heard. Now, obviously, I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I'll hear from you, but my inclination is come back another day. I don't know what the answer is, but a year's not it. So
I guess whenever the state can provide us that evidence, we could come back. Well, he's not, he's asking for.
you can certainly address the court. I'd highly advise you go through your
Here
attorney.
we go,
though.
guys.
You can talk to him.
Your attorney's doing a great job. She actually did too good of a job that I'm probably not willing to accept it. So, if you want to talk to her, please do.
I just want to say, Brayfield, first I want to say that I was in front of you when you was a misdemeanor judge. I don't know if you remember, and because when I first seen you, they had dropped my charges down to misdemeanor charge. I got rid of all of these felony charges, and I don't know how and when, but these charges was re-brought upon me. And you even made a statement when I came to see you that the fact that I was charged by two separate officers for these charges that I'm facing was double jeopardy. And I don't know what happened in the grand scheme of everything in the end.
Well, number one, I can guarantee you I've never told a defendant that they are subject to double jeopardy because number one, that is a very complex issue. Number two, it's not my role unless there's been a motion filed like a plea in bar. But either way, not here to fight with you about what you remember. That being said, they've presented charges at the felony level. And to your point, I mean, it checks out because this was July of 24. So I still would have been in state court at that point. So as it relates to, what happened in state court on this case, on whether, whatever, I'll let your lawyer look into that. But right now, that's what you're facing, the felony grade. Because if I heard this in state court, I would have had very similar reaction to what I had today, which would have been something to the extent of, it sounds like a felony type situation.
I apologize, Your Honor, but when we was in state court, these charges I wasn't facing these charges at the moment. So, now today that these charges I am being faced with these charges and they are brought against me, I just wanted to first, apologize for those situations, apologize for my actions. I understand that I'm wrong and I don't mind pleading out and accepting a plea, but Well, I mean, I'm asking you for a year just so I I'm just asking you to, accept the plea and so I can continue on what I have to deal with. But also because, I mean, first it's acute, like it's an accusation that I was doing 100 miles per hour, but another it's two officers involved. The first officer said I was doing 100 miles per hour. The second officer, the county, state patrolman, he said I wasn't doing no more than 70 miles per hour.
That's not better, dude. That's that's not helpful. I wasn't doing 100. I was only doing 70.
Or so it's like, that's why it was accusation, right? Like, that's why like they stories contradicted, and I believe that the charges had got dropped because my first public defender, Brian Dilly, he was the one that said, "Oh, I think I can get these charges dropped." And at that point, they were dropped, and I was dealing with misdemeanors. But I guess somehow they got brought back against me. But
I understand. Well, you have an excellent lawyer, and she'll definitely look into that. I will say that, one way or the other, and I'm not saying it's true, but what's been purported, if true, is that there's an innocent third party who was subject to being head-on collision due to allegedly you leaving a traffic stop. So if that's true, that's extremely problematic for you.
And so,
I'm not saying it is.
It was a victim involved. It is a separate party involved, but in terms of that situation, I didn't collide to them. They hit me and they T-boned the back of my car. I know it don't make no difference really, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, but I didn't personally hit them and cause the impact that they received.
So let me interrupt. This is probably a good point to let your lawyer do most of the talking. I will say, and I'm not trying to argue with you, when you're running from the cops, allegedly, and you interact with another car, whether it's technically your fault or not, it probably doesn't look too good. So talk to your lawyer about that.
I was only doing 70 and they hit me, Judge. So, if you ever hit a deer, you have to tell the insurance company the deer hit you. You have to. I was driving along and the deer hit me because then they'll pay for it. But if you hit the deer, then you're in trouble. Oh, man. This was a 40-minute hearing. You guys missed a bunch of it, but don't worry, I'm going to show it on my live stream coming soon. Then there was another one on this hearing with this shoplifter. The balls on this lady. You will not believe the balls on this lady. That's another video. It's another video and definitely my live stream. So make sure you hit subscribe. Thank you for coming out. I'll see you all again real soon. Bye.